Hello, you're watching News9 Live. The percentage of Brahmins in what was United Telugu Bastion stood at 5% and rough estimates say they may be maximum 3% in Telangana. Then why is Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao, popularly known as KCR, offering them sops, many may ask? For one, he makes no bones about being a devout Hindu, and by that many feel his particular preference for the Brahmin community in his personal life. And second, which seems more logical, is that the election is knocking at his door. KCR Garu inaugurated the Viprahita Brahmin Sadan, a massive community hall for Brahmins in Hyderabad yesterday, to be what he termed as the hub of Sanatana Dharma. Built at a cost of over 12 crores, Brahmin Sadan is spread over 6 acres and houses 4 buildings, including an administrative block, a marriage hall, an auditorium and rooms for seers. KCR announced that the assistance given to the priests of temples under Dhupa Deepa Naivedyam program would be increased from 6,000 to 10,000 rupees. Additionally, the assistance would be extended to another 2,796 temples, taking the number to 6,441 temples. So you see clearly, he's just upscaled whatever sops were offered earlier. I do not know if you should call it sops earlier because it was a scheme, but now he's layered it further. Now, KCR Garu also extended a one-time grant of 2 lakhs to Veda Patashalas, that is Vedic schools, and added that poor Brahmin students studying in IITs and IIMs would also be made eligible to get fee reimbursement. Many may ask if this is his way of countering the centre's 10% reservation for the EWS, or is it really to keep the Bharatiya Janata Party at bay? Or is it to just be seen as an alternative to Modi and hence be a potential PM candidate?
ప్రారంభించుకున్న నేటి శుభ సందర్భంలో బ్రాహ్మణుల సంక్షేమం కోసం ప్రభుత్వం తీసుకున్న మరిన్ని నిర్ణయాలను మీ అందరికీ తెలియజేయడానికి నేను సంతోషిస్తూ ఉన్నాను. ప్రస్తుతం బ్రాహ్మణ పరిషత్తు ద్వారా వేద శాస్త్ర పండితులకు ప్రతి నెల ఇస్తున్న గౌరవ భృతిని రూపాయలు 2,500 నుంచి 5,000 రూపాయలకు పెంచుతున్నామని మీ అందరికీ నేను తెలియజేస్తూ ఉన్నాను. ఈ భృతిని పొందే అర్హత వయస్సును 75 ఏళ్ల నుండి 65 ఏళ్లకు తగ్గిస్తున్నామని సవినయంగా తెలియజేస్తూ ఉన్నాను. ప్రస్తుతం రాష్ట్రంలోని 3,645 దేవాలయాలకు ధూపదీప నైవేద్య పథకం వర్తిస్తున్నది. రాష్ట్ర వ్యాప్తంగా మరో 2,796 దేవాలయాలకు కూడా ధూపదీప నైవేద్యం పథకాన్ని విస్తరింపజేస్తామని తెలియజేయడానికి సంతోషిస్తూ ఉన్నాను. దీంతో రాష్ట్రంలో 6,441 దేవాలయాలకు ధూపదీప నైవేద్య పథకం కింద నిర్వహణ వ్యయం అందుతుంది. ఈ సందర్భంగా మరొక శుభవార్త కూడా మీ అందరితో నేను పంచుకుంటూ ఉన్నాను. ఇప్పటి వరకు ధూపదీప నైవేద్యం పథకం కింద దేవాలయాల నిర్వహణ కోసం అర్చకులకు నెలకు 6,000 రూపాయల చొప్పున ప్రభుత్వం అందిస్తున్నది. ఈ మొత్తాన్ని 10,000 రూపాయలకు పెంచుతున్నామని తెలియజేయడానికి నేను చాలా సంతోషిస్తూ ఉన్నాను. ఈ నిర్ణయం మీ అందరినీ కూడా ఎంతో సంతోషపెడుతుందని నేను భావిస్తూ ఉన్నాను.
Look, on the one hand, there is the Dalita Bandhu scheme, and on the other hand, this kind of trying to make the Brahmins happy. So, is he striking a balance? Who? KCR Garu. Let's debate. Roydin Roach, political analyst, is joining us, and also PVS Murali. Both of them have joined us right now. We shall be joined by several other guests in a bit. Also, Suresh Kochitip has also joined us. A very, very warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for joining the debate. My first question is to Suresh, if I may. Suresh, what do you make of this? The thing is that we all know the kind of image that KCR has. He is supposed to be very, very superstitious. He looks at Rahu Kalam, Yamagandam, all the Panchang he takes care of, Vastu, Shastra. You remember the secretariat, he decided that he will rebuild it. Also, number 6 apparently is very careful when to start, when not to start, etc., etc. But the thing is that, if you look at it electorally, politically, Brahmins must be max, what, 3%? What do you make of this, where he's given them a lot of advantages, Suresh?
basically a question of semantics here,
Okay.
because this is not KCR's first outreach to
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
particular community. For example, he has reached out to the Jains and made the Mahavir Hospital area, which the Jains were from a long time, as a freehold. Of course, he has been in power for 9 years,
Right.
didn't do it then. In fact, in between, MIM wanted that land and he almost agreed to it. But then he had to backtrack because he realized that the Jains, even though numerically very small, were a very powerful community and were all associated with the BJP. Your question is right. 3% of Brahmins, and why do you pamper them? The question is that he can't be seen not. That's a problem. Because he is seen as somebody who goes to temples, did the Yadadri project, did
Yes.
all the stuff. He does a lot of yagas and all that. At the same time, he tries to maintain what he calls a secular, because secular by definition means that you don't favor any religion. Actually, you don't go to any religion at all. That's a dictionary meaning of secularism, which originated from England, as we all know, from the UK. But what is KCR doing? You saw he did the Banjara Bhavan, he did the Bhavan for other communities. He's been reaching out to everybody. And here is where I fault the BJP, because of course the BJP can't be doing what he's doing because they are not running the state. But there is an area called Sikandrabad Cantonment Board,
Right.
where a large number of people from different communities reside, and they have been pressing for their kind of thing. For example, the Malayalis, who number about something like 3.5 to 4 lakh voters in the twin cities of Hyderabad and Secunderabad. A large of them work in the army, the railways, have retired from different services. But till date, they haven't got any land. They got one land which was in Jubilee Hills, all the way, where nobody resides from this community, hardly resides that side of the
Right.
town. But again, for the Tamil community, of course, he has not done anything so far, because they are again a very kind of niche community. But he has reached out to the bigger communities. He knows that there are powerful communities, financially or otherwise. And of course, as in the Brahmins case, the Archakas, the amount that is giving to them, and he's also announced. But the bigger announcement should have been that I'm giving back all the temples to you. That should have been the announcement, but that he will not do it, because the temples are a cash cow for the government of Telangana and for other governments across the country. But
Right.
KCR's outreach is something that I faulted even the BJP for, because BJP is taking their core voter base for granted. And this is what happened in Karnataka. They took the core voter base for granted, and they kind of went for the appeasement drive on the opposite side with the Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, and it backfired badly, because the core voter base asked him the same question: what have you done for us? And there was nothing that the core voter base was done for.
Right.
And they were kind of angry with him. Same thing. But you look at UP on the other hand, there the chief minister knows what to do very well. And he, in fact, ensures that, wherever he has a Hindutva element, Yogi Adityanath proudly proclaims it. And I don't see anything wrong with that. He's again catering to the same audience as MIM would do in Hyderabad, in the old city of Hyderabad.
True. You
So I
know,
think
yeah.
KCR is playing the gallery right now, trying to reach out to each of the communities, no matter how minuscule they are. And I think he will again go back at the election time and tell them, look, I did this for you and I want your votes now.
Yeah, we do remember, and I would like to bring Roydin Roach here. One remembers Yadadri, which Suresh mentioned, and the Vedic chantings, and him, kind of being so involved in this. Of course, the way religion and even Hinduism is seen in the north and the south are very different. I've had several conversations, and being a South Indian, I still maintain that, like Hinduism's beauty is that it's different in different places. Now, coming to the core point, the thing is, one has to look at it through the prism of politics only, because these are politicians and he's been in power for 9 years. Tell me something, Roydin. Do you think that although the Brahmins are minuscule, they are around 3%, do you think that they are a very influential community? As in, when I say influential, when it comes to decision making, when it comes to influencing what are major decisions. I do not know, because in Tamil Nadu, they are not. They are 2% and they've been relegated to the back burner. But do you think in Telangana, they still have some kind of heft, Roydin?
Well, if you talk to the point, the Brahmin community is a very small community compared to any other community here in Telangana. But for them influencing any part of the voters, I talk about the voters list because that's the main aspect what we talk about politics.
Right.
I don't think that plays much of a vital role in that. Because see, here if you look at the entire southern states, it's a different ballgame for politics when you talk about caste and religion and all. So when we talk about the Brahmins, the 3% of them, it's not much of an impact. But look at what the chief minister is doing at the moment is he's reaching out to every community. Let's not talk about, because see, he wants even a 3% also to have their share in the state. That's the beauty about him. You know, we have seen him in many aspects. Let it be the Hindus, the Muslims, the Christians, the Jains, the Parsis, in the Sikh community, everyone has the share. And now we have seen him not only here the bound for the Brahmins, but it's all over the place. You know, like every community, even the Yadav community, he has given everyone the equal right. You know, equal freedom, equal right, and you know, that plays a vital role for him. Actually, that's the most important thing what he's doing. So even if you calculate 3% also, it makes a number. So every drop is counted. So when we want to look at it in an aspect of whether the Brahmin community is influential or not, I say it's not much influential. But maybe not in Telangana. But look at the aspect of going outside Telangana. Okay, this will play a vital role for the BRS outside Telangana, because when we look at the other part of the country, the northern part of the country, there are a lot of Brahmins that influence a lot of governments over there, and the people also. Okay, they have a say over there. But so Telangana is not the only aspect what he looks at. He has a different vision, and he's a man of he knows what to do. He's been in this politics for quite a long time.
Absolutely.
And he knows exactly what to do.
Yeah, you're right. You know, I agree with you that he's a very astute politician. You're right that his outreach, if you want to call it, towards Brahmins is not limited to Telangana, because look at him. He's eyeing Maharashtra, right? I mean, he's done 5 or 6 rallies there, like you said, Roy Dean. So maybe it's an expansive plan, and therefore I will bring PVS Murali here. Murali, I want to ask you that, you know what Roy Dean said, and I want to take a leaf from what he said, Murali. Look at the way he's eyeing Maharashtra. He's saying that, you know, let's talk about the agricultural, the agrarian distress. Where are the farmers? What is it? And number 2 is, you know, like both Suresh as well as Roy Dean said, that he is not just appeasing or making Brahmins happy. He has made the Jains happy. He has made the Parsis happy, the Sikhs happy, and let me add, Banjaras. He's also, you know, focused on the Banjaras, the Lambadis, as it were. So I'm asking you something, that is it a 2-pronged strategy, in the sense, yes, Brahmins are, you know, minuscule in comparison, but he's, you know, given them more than what they were getting earlier, because for the benefit of the viewers, Brahmin Southern, he I think established in 2017, if I'm not wrong, in January. So this is just an extension. But do you think that what KCR Garu is eyeing is actually that prime ministerial chair in New Delhi?
Yeah, that's for sure, because, you know, you don't play a match with an intention not to win. So you play a match with an intention to win, and there's nothing wrong in KCR aspiring to be the prime minister whenever that happens, or if that happens. But then that apart, you know, if we really look at this, the whole show bazi on the this event of inauguration of the building for the Brahmins, and Brahmins, as my predecessors have said, it's constituted a minuscule 3%, and it's neither here nor there. But yeah, that's for sure. It's neither nor here, and it's basically it's nowhere. Actually, you don't find a cabinet berth for the Brahmins, nor for the any MLAs or you know, any of the, except for the few bureaucrats here and there. But then that's by default and not by choice in any case. And let's look at it. You know, why do people get this kind of a phobia or a fancy that, you know, only 6 months away from the elections, you now start getting it and reaching out all the communities? I mean, I thought that they should be doing, it's a continuous process, and it just doesn't happen only during the election year. And by doing that, what is happening is, as you rightly said, if I'm aiming for the PM's share, obviously I need to copy some of the things of what Modi is doing and say, okay, it's a sabka saath, sabka vikas. And so whether it's Banjara or whether it is Dalit, whether it is Yadavas, whether it is X or Y or Z, or so you reach out to all the communities 6 months before or 1 year before the election. So that's natural. But then is that a part of the strategy? I think this is not a part of the strategy in the sense that this is what has been the tradition of all the political parties in any case. So I think there's nothing new that KCR per se is doing, being an astute politician that he is.
All right, let me go to Suresh now. Suresh, I want to ask you, you know, many people are commenting on this. I mean, there are two things one has to look at it. First of all, he's trying to establish himself as somebody who is not, you know, much like the Prime Minister, because he has been very, very critical of Narendra Modi in the past. We know many times that when the Prime Minister has visited Hyderabad, KCR has not been there to receive him. Some reason or the other, he's gone to meet Deve Gowda, etc., etc. So one thing is that, look, he's maybe trying to send out a message to New Delhi that, you know, your kind of choice, the way you cherry pick, I'm not that type. I'm seeing to it that all the communities, whether it is the, like, you know, Malayalis, whether it is the Brahmins, whether it is, you know, Parsis, the Sikhs, the Jains, I really stand for what is secular India, which is all religion are the same, you know, when we refer to the book, which is the Constitution of India. But then someone may turn around, Suresh, and say, how many Brahmin ministers does he have? Does he have anybody who's close to him, even as an advisor, who's from that community, Suresh? So, bit of a hypocrisy, would you say, or not really? Maybe there was no need to have one.
Well, as I told you earlier, KCR has his religious affiliation up his sleeve. There's no doubt about it. If you look at the early days of KCR also, he starts everything with a yagam, with a puja, everything. He's no apologies about what he does. But I think the main thing that we need to realize from KCR is, of course, is that he kind of goes overboard with it. That is where the worrying many politicians, in of his opponents especially. Why does he go overboard with it? And that is what is the main reason. Why is it an electoral benefit, or is it something beyond it? That is what we need to look at. And I think that is what KCR is all about, isn't it? He is reaching out to different segments of people. He's trying to get their votes. And I don't think anything is wrong with doing what he's doing. And that is what I think should be seen in that respect.
All right. Sandeep Shastri is also joining us, who is the National Coordinator of Lok Niti Network. Welcome, Mr. Shastri. Mr. Shastri, KCR Garu's, you know, attempt to kind of layer what the Brahmins have been getting, you know, the Brahmin Southern that he set up in 2017. Now he's increased, you know, the kind of monies that they were getting, also the grants which they used to get in phases. Now they will get, you know, at one go. Also, you know, fee reimbursement for Brahmin children who are poor, studying in IIT and IIMs, etc., Veda Patashalas, etc., Dhupadipa, all that. You know, how should one look at it only from the prism of elections, or should one look at it from the prism of he's trying to establish himself as the true votary of what we know as the idea of India, and therefore being very secular and eyeing the prime ministerial chair?
With the elections being a few months away, I don't know whether anything can be seen from a prism other than election politics.
Right.
Also, I've been hearing the debate. Reaching out to the Brahmin community, interestingly, is not just about the percentage they are in the society, but it is also about the larger symbolism that they represent and the larger impact of that symbolism on Hindu society in general, I think is a point we need to keep in mind. But let me make 3 points here in this context. Point number 1, elections see a competitive demonstration of religiosity. If one party leader demonstrates religiosity, I think others don't remain far behind. So I think this temple visits, appeasing or catering to the needs of certain influential religious groups is something that you see across the time of elections.
Right.
Secondly, Let's also remember, when do students go more frequently to the temple? Or why
Exam.
do we all go to a temple before we go for a major job interview? I
Yeah.
think the Telangana chief minister is exactly doing that as he gets ready for a major uh, challenge he's going to face in getting in securing public support after being in power for 2 terms. So I think that is a second factor. And thirdly, uh, as has been said as part of this debate, KCR is not just looking at Telangana, he's looking at a larger national picture.
Right.
And when you are building the image of a leader, when you are projecting yourself as a leader, in Indian society, north or south or west or east, the fact that you are God fearing, the fact that you are somebody who respects the institution of religion, irrespective of which religion you're talking about, becomes important. So I would see this as a combination of these three factors, a constellation of these three factors working together in what we are seeing happening. And I think KCR is not alone doing this. You look around the country, you look at the past, many leaders have done this and done this with a reasonable degree of success also.
Right. I mean, all right. Let me go to Roydeen Roach. Roydeen Roach, you know, you heard what Sandeep Shastri said. I want to ask you, because you see the way, how do I say it? The north side south divide is also the way people look at the BJP's influence. You know, of course, Bandi Sanjay and everyone they've been very vocal. Now it's really not worked in Tamil Nadu, Kerala. I don't think there is any chance. We've seen the results in Karnataka, but I'm talking about. They said that, you know, it is to keep the BJP at bay, because at one time, not now, at one time the BJP had great influence amongst Brahmins or the upper caste. I'm speaking about the pan-Indian thing. Do you think that being such an astute politician that he shall not leave any kind of stone unturned, it is also an effort on the part of KCR Garu to kind of push them back by doing this?
If you look at it on the way that what you commented about trying to push them back, I don't see in what way is it pushing them back. Because see, every like even see what he said was about the quotas being given to the poor children. You know, in the the Brahmin community, there are quite a lot of poor children. There are a lot of pujaris whose children are there who are suffering, who even needs to be taken care of, the education, all is still there. So when you look at it, see, KCR has gone to details of these things, these reports, because he has sufficient people next to him who has been giving him the entire information and feedback of each community. So on that basis, he is working out the aspect to see that how everyone comes in par with one another. So that is the most beautiful thing that he does, and that is very important for him as a leader for his ambitions all over the country. So when we talk about pushing them back, see, I don't think he is trying to push anyone back. Because see, when you try and give equality to each and every one, so everyone benefits from that. So everyone is a step ahead with him. So they will not be a burden to him or a luggage to him that he has to pull along.
You know,
So
I
he
want
is
to,
working very intelligently.
Roydeen, I want to really believe you, but it sounds way too idealistic, where you say that it's almost like Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, that there are Jains also, maybe there are Christians also, there are Sikhs also, there are Parsis also. But you know what Sandeep Shastri said, the only way to look at it, unfortunately, fortunately, but it's a science, right? Mr. Sandeep Shastri is a master at it, and all of us being journalists, we've seen this. It is only to be seen through the prism of elections, Roydeen, unfortunately. What you say, I want to believe, but is it that simplistic? PVS Murali, what do you think? You think that it is as simple? And number two, my question to you, Murali, is that will this help KCR's overall image, as it were? See, one thing is for sure, that he's checked out of this whole federal thing, that, you know, he met Stalin, he met several other leaders, but somehow after a while, because of the issues with Congress, when the Karnataka results came out, he says don't look at Karnataka and all that, you just concentrate on what is happening in Telangana. But do you think it's going to layer him in any fashion, or it's going to be, take care, he's done it. I mean, this is not something that is going to win him any votes. It's just for his image, a perception.
See, let's look at it this way. Now, he's into the 10th year now, and 10th consecutive year, and it's more like a do or die for TRS or the BRS to get into the next session as well, and which means that he has to go all out. You know, there is no choice, and in that context, he is reaching out to everybody, whether it makes sense or it doesn't make sense. And at the end of the day, it is even one vote would count, you know. And as you said, is he pushing back the BJP? I don't think, you know, each one would have their own set of dedicated voters, and so to that extent, only the influencing only those undecided voters who can tilt it this way or the other. But then the main question is he being too religious-tic in thing? I have my own doubts about it, because as if the tradition goes, for all the Sri Ram Navami festivals, the protocol says that the chief minister should be there throughout the day, and maybe throughout the night as well. But then at the end of the day, he's never been there, and he only sends his representative there. So, which means that is he too religious? No, it's again a phrase that if it suits him,
Right.
yes, he's religious. If it doesn't, he is not religious.
I don't know, but I somehow
in the sense, but then he never, believe me, yeah. 1 second, he never missed any of the iftar parties. Now, which means that he is aligned to and can have a sumptuous dinner with some other communities, but you don't care about the Hindu religious.
I don't know if, right, but he's seen in Yadadri, he's seen in several other places, he's chanting. I do not know, I could be completely wrong, but somehow I can imagine him, say after a month, and in Hindi, you know, he has a major advantage when he speaks in Hindi. None of the chief ministers speak in Hindi. I think Siddaramaiah ji speaks a bit of it, but Stalin, no way, you know his stand on Hindi. I mean, none of them. He will, I somehow can hear him say कि भाजपा जो है वो सिर्फ एक ही धर्म के एक ही लोगों पर विश्वास आस्था है उनकी. मुझे देखिए, मैं हर कम्युनिटी के साथ उनका दोस्त हूँ. Somehow I feel that he wants to be seen as somebody who is, you know, completely impartial. Suresh, I want to ask you this before I go to Mr. Shastri. Suresh, do you think that, you know, this kind of an image that he's building ultimately is something which is really not going to help him, or you think that it is something like, you know, Sandeep said that there is no politician in India who does not want to be seen as devout, as someone who believes in God. Of course, there is a Stalin and there is Pinarayi. They both make no bones about the fact that they don't believe in all this. But do you think it's going to add up to his image, as it were? Because right now, it is more about perception. He will build his image now. You know, it is more of a marketing exercise than anything else.
Well, I think you mentioned one name in between there, Pinarayi Vijayan. There was an interesting incident which happened about 6 months ago. I'm not sure which collectorate it was. I think it was Sirsila or somewhere near Yadadri. Pinarayi Vijayan was invited along with D. Raja and other chief ministers, including Akhilesh Yadav, for the inauguration of the Yadadri temple. What happened was, once Pinarayi reached there, I think he was not briefed properly that it was a temple. Pinarayi and D. Raja quietly slipped into the guest house of the temple and did not enter the temple. Now, that was a major embarrassing moment for Chief Minister KCR, because he had announced publicly that all these chief ministers would be there with him in the temple.
Yes.
Now, look at the division there. That is the problem. Tomorrow, when he's seen with Stalin, the first question the Brahmins of Tamil Nadu would ask him is, what is it doing? What does EVR say about Brahmins? And
Yes.
does DMK still stick to it? That is the question that is going to come, because that is where he actually faltered when he wanted the Desh Ke Neta image. Today, Nitish Kumar doesn't call him. Even Kumar Swamy stopped calling him.
Yes.
Mamata Banerjee doesn't call him.
True.
Nobody bothers except Arvind Kejriwal. Nobody comes to Hyderabad. I think that there is a message in that. There's a bigger message in this.
Yeah. Which is true, Suresh. He seems to have checked out. Mr. Sandeep Shastri, do you think, when he checked out of this entire thing, my first question to you is that he wants to stand all by himself as an exclusive monolithic character, that I'm not part of this cabal. Sorry, I'm using that word, but for lack of anything else that I can think of. And number two, if you genuinely look at it, do you think that the Brahmins needed this layering? After all, they are a community and much maligned, and whether they are 3%, 2%, 1%, if they are economically backward, why not give them what they deserve? I mean, whether it is puja, archana, whether it's a Dikshidhar, whether whatever they want to do. Of course, the hereditary priesthood, KCR Garu has said he will discuss it during the cabinet. So, my two questions: one, checking out monolithic character, and therefore ergo trying to equate himself with New Delhi ki kursi, and number two is that do the Brahmins really deserve this, at least in Telangana?
Let me come to your second question first.
Ji.
If you're going to look at them in terms of there being a percentage of the population, yes, it could be argued that you have magnified the type of importance you have given them. But then if you also, in a lot of conservative states, and I'm not, and in terms of religion, I'm not looking at Tamil Nadu or Kerala on this factor. In the other states, especially in the north, you will notice that any concession, any support given to the Brahmin community is not seen as only for the Brahmin community, but is linked largely to temples, to religious institutions, and it has a bandwagon effect with regard to other groups also, and I would like that factor to be budgeted into the analysis.
Right.
Coming to your first point about monolith, I have held the moment you make the fight against the ruling party at the center as a fight on leadership, you have lost the battle even before it has started. I think the fight has to be on alternative policies, alternative programs, alternative perspectives. Because if you're going to make it a fight on leadership, the non-BJP groups have been seen to have the stand that we united we fall and then divided we stand.
Right.
So if it is going to be on leadership, that's the first crisis. And the second crisis would be, you have just less than a year to actually prop up a leadership, and Modi has been there for 9 years, and it's a battle. If it is going to be a leadership battle, it's a battle you have already lost even before it has begun. So I think there has to be some re-strategizing if they wish to really make 2024 a battle, and a re-strategizing where the focus is not on leadership, which is what the BJP would love it to be, but they would need to make it as a strategy on alternative policies, alternative programs,
Right.
alternative perspectives. Then alone is there a chance of a fight possible against the current government in Delhi.
All right, and with that, I've completely run out of time. Thanks are due to Sandeep Shastri, Roydin Roach, PVS Murali, and Suresh Kochatil for joining us on the debate. Thank you very much indeed. And of